Have you ever felt like you notice things about yourself that others seem to completely miss? Maybe you catch your own moods shifting, or you reflect on why you reacted a certain way, while the people around you just move on without a second thought. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And it might actually mean you're more self-aware than most. Self-awareness is one of the most valuable but rare qualities a person can have. It's the difference between living life on autopilot and actually understanding yourself deeply enough to grow. The truth is, many people never stop to examine their own thoughts, feelings, or actions. But if you do, it puts you in a category of people who are not only more reflective, but often stronger and more resilient. In this video, we'll explore 7 signs that show you're more self-aware than the average person, and you may recognize yourself in more of them than you expect. Think about the difference between someone who refuses to look in the mirror and someone who faces it every day. A lack of self-awareness can be toxic. It often shows up as denial, blaming others, or projecting insecurities onto the people around them. This not only damages relationships, but also keeps them stuck in the same painful patterns. On the other hand, self-awareness is like a light in a dark room. It brings growth, empathy, and resilience. People who cultivate it understand themselves more deeply, make healthier choices, and build stronger connections. It's not about being flawless. It's about being honest with yourself so you can move forward. And that honesty is rare. So let's explore the subtle signs you might be more self-aware than most. Sign number 1. You notice your emotional triggers. Most people feel anger, sadness, or frustration and immediately get swept away by it. But if you're self-aware, you notice what sparks those emotions instead of just drowning in them. For example, instead of just snapping at someone, you might pause and think, why did their comment bother me so much? That simple question shows incredible self-awareness. The difference is huge. Unaware people react impulsively and often regret it later, while self-aware people create space to understand themselves better. If you've ever caught yourself analyzing the root of your feelings instead of just letting them control you, that's a powerful sign you're tuned into your inner world. And it's something far fewer people do than you might think. Sign number 2. You reflect instead of react. When tension rises, most people go straight into defense mode, snapping back in an argument, firing off a harsh text, or shutting down emotionally. But self-aware individuals pause before reacting. They reflect, asking themselves, what's the best way to respond here? This doesn't mean you never get upset. It means you create a gap between stimulus and response. That gap is where maturity lives. Think of stressful work situations or heated family discussions. An unaware reaction can escalate everything, but reflection can diffuse it. If you've ever chosen silence over shouting or taken a deep breath before answering, you're practicing a rare form of self-control. Reflection over reaction is one of the clearest markers of true self-awareness. Sign number 3. You can admit when you're wrong. It's easy to cling to your pride and pretend you're always right. That's what many people do, out of fear, insecurity, or ego. But self-aware individuals take a different path. They value truth over appearances. They're willing to say, I messed up and I'm sorry. That takes courage because it feels vulnerable, but it also builds trust in relationships. People respect honesty far more than perfection. If you've ever apologized when it was uncomfortable or owned up to a mistake instead of covering it up, that's a rare strength. Admitting when you're wrong doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. And in a world full of defensiveness, that authenticity is refreshing. Sign number 4. You recognize patterns in your behavior. Life has a way of repeating lessons until we finally learn them. Many people stumble through the same problems without ever realizing the common thread. But self-aware individuals notice patterns. They can see how past behaviors connect to present struggles. Maybe you've recognized that you procrastinate when you're anxious, or that you keep attracting similar dynamics in relationships. That recognition is powerful, because once you see the pattern, you can start to change it. The unaware repeat mistakes blindly, while the self-aware pause and say, "Wait, I've been here before. What can I do differently this time?" If you often reflect on your own patterns, it shows you're not just living unconsciously, you're learning from your own story. Sign number 5, you listen more than you speak. True self-awareness shows up not just in how you understand yourself, but in how you treat others. Many people dominate conversations, waiting only for their turn to talk. But self-aware individuals know the value of listening. They create space for others to be heard, which deepens empathy and connection. If people often tell you, "You're such a good listener," it's not just a compliment. It's evidence of your self-awareness. Listening requires humility. It means you don't always need to be the loudest voice in the room. Instead, you're present, attentive, and willing to learn from others. That quiet strength is something most people underestimate. Yet it's one of the clearest signs of emotional maturity. Sign number 6, you're comfortable with uncomfortable truths. Denial feels safe. It's easier to tell yourself you're just lazy than to admit you're burned out, or to pretend a relationship is fine when deep down, you know it isn't. Many people live in that denial for years, but self-aware individuals choose courage over comfort. They look uncomfortable truths in the eye, even when it stings. Acknowledging burnout, loneliness, or bad habits doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong enough to change. If you've ever confronted a painful reality rather than running from it, you're showing rare bravery. Facing truth may hurt in the short term, but it's the only path to real healing. And self-awareness is what makes that possible. Sign number 7, you value growth over perfection. Perfection looks polished on the surface, but it's a trap. Many people chase it endlessly, comparing themselves to impossible standards, always feeling not enough. Self-aware individuals see life differently. They don't measure their worth by perfection. They measure it by progress. They ask, "Am I better than I was yesterday?" That perspective frees them from toxic self-criticism and helps them focus on growth. If you've ever celebrated small wins or chosen self-improvement over self-judgment, you're already practicing this. Perfection demands you look flawless for others, but growth allows you to evolve for yourself. Choosing growth over perfection is one of the most powerful signs of a truly self-aware person. If you resonated with even a few of these signs, give yourself credit. You're already more self-aware than most people. Remember, self-awareness isn't about being perfect or having everything figured out. It's about paying attention, reflecting, and being honest with yourself. That honesty opens doors to growth, resilience, and deeper connections with others. Self-awareness is a journey, not a finish line. Some days you'll feel in tune with yourself, and other days you'll struggle. But every step matters. Keep asking questions, keep noticing your patterns, and keep choosing growth over denial. At the end of the day, being self-aware doesn't mean being flawless. It means being real with yourself. And that's where true strength begins.